afternoon, everyone. I am Benjamin Oladunjoyi by name, and I think I'm a core MC. The main MC will soon be on ground, but because of our time, I think we can start now. As I will be commencing this program, I want all of us to please stand on our feet as we recognize the pass away of one of us, the person of late engineer Adebayo, for us to observe a silent, a 1 minute silence before we continue. Thank you very much. We will be going straight to commence the program now. And in this case, I will call the chairman to come and list these agendas for us to know how we're going to.
Thank you so much, Emergency MC. I can see that you are struggling to do it, but that's all the same. Please help me put your hands together for him. It's good. Thank you so much. Like I said, there's been a little stuff, but we'll make sure we arrange everything properly. I'm sure the whole of the high table seems to just be men. So the mummy that we're expecting, that's Engineer Mrs. Oyeronke, Director, Drainage and Irrigation, Federal Minister of Water Resources. I think it's away in Italy, or I don't know where she is now. We never knew she would not be present. And since you are here, I'm sure she's sending Engineer Fatih Baba Ahmed, and honestly, we welcome you also gladly to this meeting. So we don't want to look everything to just be man. And I'm inviting you, you are running. Why are you running? You're supposed to make sure you color this place for us. Engineer Nena, that's the new way, the Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers, I think. Past chairperson. So we still invite you to come and be on this side table, whether by force, by fire. Please let me get a seat for her. No, flank it on both sides. You can't be together at the same time. You have to color that table. That's why you are here. Thank you so much. Thank you. So quickly, no, don't go yet. So quickly, like I said, this will not be a normal general meeting that we're going to have, especially by the reason of all that we need to put together today. Some of the things we're supposed to have discussed in this meeting today should have been, number one, our cooperative society. We have gone far on that cooperative. Don't mind me that we are not reading our last minute. The last minute, I'm sure it's been printed, Abi, or you have put it on the platform. Well, like I said, we will have an unusual general meeting today by the reason, because we are, as I said, we are repositioning this meeting in favor of the departed soul. So we will not be talking so much on the cooperative society of the institution, that's the chapter, because we have gone far. An app which ought to have been rolled out by now, all that we are able to pay. We have been charged about ₦1 million, and we have only been able to pay just 400,000 naira. And it's not even about the developer, but about his partners, the partners of the developer that are not even within the country. So that is still hanging, but I want members to know that we are committed very strongly to the NIAE Abuja Chapter Cooperative and Credit and Thrift Society. You see, many of us don't understand what it takes to work together as a pressure group. When you handle a single broom, you can easily break it with just your 2 fingers. But a bunch of broom, it will take some measure of strength. And this is what we continue to advocate, that members need to understand that we must come together to move, the chapter forward. Of course, many have acknowledged the effort that we are putting so far. I will be speaking this directly to the national. And I thank God their national licensing officer is also here, Engineer Mrs. Titilayo Oladeli. You are also welcome. You didn't recognize the national people here, my brother. So this afternoon, let me just cut short on that, because we want to start going through all our minutes of meeting and going through, honestly, it will take too long. Maybe in the next meeting, we'll be doing more justice to all this. Right now, for the first leg of this meeting this afternoon, we are going to, the reason why we brought Engineer Umar Bindir into this meeting this afternoon is to let the whole world know that his legacy cannot be forgotten. He has been a very strong member of Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers Abuja Chapter, and by extension to the national, because he's the fellow of this institution. His legacy cannot easily be erased. In fact, on the Wednesday that preceded his death, while arranging for this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, respected elders and members of this institution, while preparing for this meeting today and trying to meet up with financial challenges. In fact, I was calling his line. I never knew he was in the hospital. The OSGF meeting is there, and these are the things I've lined up for you to take charge of. But thank God for Engineer Mrs. Oyeronke, who also bailed us out in some of the financial commitment to this meeting. This is how important Engineer Adebayo is to us. So we are going to, I didn't know that you'll be playing that intro while we are observing a minute silence. But we're going to take that intro again, inviting the children. My dear brother, Mr. Adebayo, please, I want you to come. That's the first son. I hope I'm correct. Yeah, please come. This is the first son of Engineer Umar Bindir, former director, Agribusiness and Market, Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. Yeah, please your hands together if you want to do that. Yeah. We want to say boldly that we recognize the commitments and the contribution of your father while he was here with us. So we're going to take that intro again, the full intro, because I know you didn't play everything. Then we also take few comments. Okay? Then after that, we're going straight into the paper presentation. Or peradventure, any other person also want to say one or two things that we can put on tape, because today is an opportunity for all of us. There is no one, when they were asking us to cancel this meeting, I said, how will you want to cancel it? The man that is gone by the grace of God. If there is anyone that should be committed to what we are doing now, it's you that is alive. It is us now that should have a rethink on where we are as far as the journey of life is concerned. Mourning about the departed soul is not really relevant any longer. Rather, we should mourn for ourselves and to know where we are as far as the journey of life is concerned. So that's why we are not taking it, we are not just saying it, behind the closed door. We are going to mass publicize this, because that's why we bring all the media as with dim feet. Some of us, he has done one or two things. We want you to please, let's record your voice, because we are going to also produce a documentary out of that to salute this fallen hero. So from here, I want to ask our multimedia if you are ready for us. Can we please take that intro all over again?
Engineer Adebayo Michael was born in Idogun in Ose local government area of Ondo State. He attended St. John's Primary School, Ikbele, Ondo State, and Imade College, Owo, Ondo State. He obtained a Bachelor of Engineering degree of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He proceeded for the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, at then National Directorate of Food, Roads and Rural Infrastructure, NDF-RRI, and at the end of the service year, due to his outstanding performance, he was given automatic employment into the Federal Civil Service of the Federation. Engineer Adebayo has made tremendous contributions and giant strides on the strength of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in the development of the national policies, strategies and productivity enhancement for post-harvest management across the agricultural value chain for value addition, food security and employment generation, production of Nigeria Agribusiness Investment Guide, and in the development of essential catalysts for establishment of agro-industrial estates and integrated large-scale rice mills across the country. He is a registered engineer with the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Koren, Fellow, Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers, FNIAE at the national level, member of the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers, and a member of the Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers, Abuja Chapter. Engineer Adebayo Adedeji is married and blessed with children.
Engineer, I want to say engineer doctor. Engineer Adebayo, please, your presentation. Thank you so much.
First of all, I want to give glory to God Almighty, who has made it possible for me to be alive today. I'm saying that this lecture we are having today, this paper presentation we are having today,
Presentation. And that will be done for us now by DG Nestria. That's Dr. Matthew O. Adepoju, FGO, SON, FNISS, FCI, MCN, and FNCA. So many Fs. Thank you so much, sir. So we want to make that available to the Sun. And of course, from there, sir, we would also love to have your goodwill message to the House before you run away from us this afternoon. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to stand on well-established protocol, and I apologize for coming late. And since the beginning of this week, I've been jumping from one leg to another. We have an international conference that is going on, and I pity my senior brother, my boss, my idol, Dr. Engineer Bindir, because today we've been draining his brain at our conference. We were panelists again together. Whether I will be able to make the 3 o'clock or not, I was worried for him, but here we are. And I had to go back to the office and sign the MOU with some of our international partners. I'm particularly happy to be here today, and I want to appreciate the chairman and the member of the Abuja chapter, the engineer Adebayo Adedeji, MNSE, MNIAE, and MNCS, and Register of Koren. Okay, so being here has given me an opportunity to know what I didn't know before. This morning, while my secretary sent out to me the reminder for this meeting, I was asking her that what is NIAE means. She scratched her head. She said, "Okay, I don't know, but it should be on the letter that is with your essay." But when the engineer Bindir was making his presentation, he showed us some of the things he did in his early life as engineer with focus on agricultural equipment. And we were able to see some of the challenges that we have in our ecosystem. I think the first speaker spoke about the challenges regarding the publicity and awareness. Most of us who are running professional bodies, oftentimes, maybe because some of us are working with government, we do not make enough presence to be felt, because we have issue with food security in Nigeria. And I make it a bold statement to say that to solve that problem, these institutes have a greater role to play. In National Space Research and Development Agency, some of my engineers and scientists have developed some equipment for precision agriculture, some engineering tools as well that can bring precision agriculture. We have work to do together, and I want to employ the leadership of the society at national level and Abuja chapter for us to work together hand in hand, because you will be the handshake with some of our innovations and getting to the farmers, and the agency would like to work with you to support your program and be part of your journey to greater height. Okay for, I saw the video being played as well. Something struck my mind, and what struck my mind is the fact that whether you utilize your time on planet Earth judiciously or otherwise, the time will come that we close the eyes for the last time. When people ask me, DG, you need to rest, how are you doing it? I said, I don't know how many years or how many weeks or how many days I have left. So every day count. And whatever I can do within the hours, days, weeks, and months and years, it means a lot to me. Here comes a man, Engineer Adebayo Adedeji, who used his entire life for the service to humanity, and we have him on picture. This is not a fallacious claim. He has served the society, he has served the institution, he has served the country with all his capacity. And that's why he's being honored and being appreciated for the greater work he has done for us. And I want to appeal to the son that is representing the father. Your father left a big shoe, but it's not a big thing to fill your father's shoe. Just grow one step at a time and keep the ideals of the family and keep the flag flying for your father. On behalf of the Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers, Abuja Chapter, and on behalf of the chairman of the chapter, Engineer Adebayo Adedeji, please, I present this certificate of appreciation to Engineer Adebayo Adedeji, and which God has placed you to receive on behalf of your father. Don't be heartbroken because your father has left a great legacy, and we thank God. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
I think we can do better than that to the Director General. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. We gladly excuse you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, you can please go to your seat. Thank you so much, sir. So on this note, I won't mind to receive one or two comments, in respect of the contribution of Engineer Adedeji while he was here with us. Quickly, I just want two comments. Am I having any from the high table? Let me give high table the first point of call. Any comment, just very short, about 30, 45 seconds. Okay? The floor. Anyone that want to just say something about Engineer Adedeji? What do you know about him? Briefly. We just want to welcome the Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. You are welcome, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished members of Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers. Today is both happy and a bit saddening. But we give glory to God for the life that our brother and friend and leader, Engineer Adebayo Michael Adedeji, lived while he was with us. The news was very shocking, but all the same, while sitting last night, I said, wherever the service of song or if chance permits here, I crafted an elegy as a funeral poem to encapsulate what he did while he was with us. But for want of time, I may not be able to read the elegy in full. Perhaps when we go for service of songs, we will continue. But then, for those who know him, Engineer Adebayo was a seasoned agricultural engineer and a departmental director of repute in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. He was the director, ABM, Agribusiness and Market Development Department. He was a team player and a gentleman. There are not many gentlemen in Abuja, but Adebayo was one of the few gentlemen. Caring and loving. We will have wished that he stayed longer with us. But some of us will be able to watch him at close quarters for the purpose of emulation. But we thank God for all he was and what he did while with us. He was a loyal and useful member of NIAE in general and Abuja Chapter in particular. And that's why you see that a special session this is the first time in our history. NIAE Abuja Chapter started in the year 2001. This is the first time we are doing something like this. I believe his exemplary life will propel and stimulate some of us to be more passionate about the affairs of our great institution. May God grant us more people like Michael, in Jesus' name.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I know if I give you the space, if I didn't caution you, for the next 30 minutes, you continue to talk about Engineer Umar Bindir.
It's my great pleasure to welcome the guest speaker today, who will be speaking on the very important topic, why engineers do not retire. A distinguished Nigerian, an accomplished engineer, Dr. Umar Bindir.
Born on 11 August
FNSE.
1961 in Yola, Adamawa State.
I have a very serious weakness and interest in young engineers. And the chairman, being a young engineer, inviting me, I have to honor that. Yeah, and everything that the MC was trying to say is actually captured. This is my CV. I'm from Yola, Adamawa State. I was in academia until I became a professor, and then I entered the Federal Civil Service. You cannot believe it, Pamsek. I was the first civil servant who retired on the 8-year rule of President Yaradua. It's on record. But I was already a Director General then. But in the service, I served in the office of the SGF in many departments. I also was the Director of Sports. I was actually the person who recruited Samson Siasia when I was in Federal Ministry of Sports. And then I became a director in the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology From there, I moved to NOTAB to become the DG. I spent 6 years there. And then I was harvested to go to Adamawa State, having no political experience other than working with something like maybe 15 to 18 ministers. And I went to the state government. If you have not worked with the state government, particularly with the political class, your life is incomplete. Sorry, Pamsek, so there's a need for that. Pamsek will soon join them. So I worked as a Director General there, but interestingly, I am now a retired academic, a retired civil servant, a retired public servant. If you wait for political appointment, you are wasting your time. If they call you, fine. If they don't call you, just get on with your life. So I became a social entrepreneur. What does social entrepreneurship mean? Social entrepreneur means investing in people. I checked all this career cycle that I've gone through. I realized that the privileges I had and the privileges I have to become a very successful engineer is beyond me. And therefore, I must go back and be able to, what most people say, give back. So, what I have done, this is one of my sample projects. Inside Yola town, very close to my parents' house within that community, I sold everything I had. And for a Fulani man to sell his cows is a taboo, but I did. I sold everything, my goats, my sheep. I even had 2 donkeys. I sold all that. And I put all the bits and pieces I had, and I bought, with the money I bought this piece of land in our own community. And I smashed it. Everybody thought, as a retired civil servant, I've now come home to build a big house and then live comfortably and so on and so forth. Little did they know what I was thinking of. When I smashed it, I then built this facility. Totally without any investment from anybody. I went as an engineer. I was part of the drawing of this facility. I was part of even the concretes and all the blocks. Despite the fact that I was an agriculture engineer, we did this ourselves. And then I put water system there. We drilled a borehole to make sure that that facility has water 24/7. I put 24/7 power source, and then I put comfort facilities to make sure that the whole place is comfortable. And I even partnered with Nigeria Communication Satellite, and I got a VSAT, and I installed it at the center to make sure that that center has 24/7 internet connectivity. And then I registered an NGO, and I called that NGO the Bindir Knowledge Development Center International. This is new with our people. Our people, particularly in the northern part, we are not good in philanthropy. You are just good for yourself. You can praise somebody to say, have you seen Dr. Bindir? Have you seen the new car he has bought? The man has tried, though. It's always you. Even if you got privileges, the road that they have allocated to your community, you will make sure that that road leads to your house. And that is just our index of. So when you start a non-governmental and non-profit organization of this nature, people think you are crazy, especially if you put any, but I registered it. And then I made the facility the headquarters of my own NGO. And one of the facilities in that building is this hall. You cannot believe this, just like I'm making presentation like this to you, I made a presentation to a group of companies, and the MD of Julius Berger was there. And when I finished the presentation, he offered me, he said, Dr. Bindir, I will put all the chairs and tables that we require in the center because of the objective. And I'm sure happy to report, Pamsek, that this was actually a donation from Julius Berger. And because of this, every single day in that center, we will take 100 children. 100 children will be seated in my center. We will be teaching them career guidance. I had never had any career guidance. There was no, my experience and my contact, I used to go to the offices, both at federal and state, collect all those computers and printers that are old. If you go to Pamsek's office now, there's a corner where most of these, I beg them. They bought it and I carry them. And you cannot believe, we go to my center, I have 100 sets of screwdrivers, another 100 sets of soldering iron, and so on and so forth. And I teach these children at the age of 5 to 10 how to read a resistor. You know the color codes, if you remember the old technology. This one is K, this one is 100, this one, and they do. At 5 years old, I used to produce young people who can desolder a resistor off a circuit board and be able to actually decode the figure. I was doing that. And these children will also go on my computers. They will have interaction of things on the internet. They know WhatsApp, they know Skype, they know Zoom, everything for free. And so we do training for the children, free services for student revision, surrounding schools. We take their register, we have their data. You want to come and spend time? Because again, it's culturally, in our communities, the house is already full of people. You have 3 wives, 15 children, and there are only 4 rooms. How will these children revise? It does not even exist. So I offer them, come, we on the electricity, put the air conditioner on, free, they sit down, and then they revise. We give them career guidance, as I said. We help government on designing, with our experience at the federal level, we help the government to devise or design poverty alleviation programs, community development programs, and so on and so forth. So we used to do a lot of these things. And we saw a lot of interest of the communities. And then I bought the next piece of land next to my center so that I can be able to introduce something more. So I bought this bit, concreted it, and then I created a sports space. I used to play badminton for Nigeria, so I know what happened to me. So I put 4 courts of badminton. I bought 4 table tennis tables. I have Scrabble, Ludo, chess, everything, you know, and I used to encourage the children to come. You don't know how catalytic this is to peace in communities. Sports, nobody bothers whether you are Igbo or Fulani or Yoruba or Christian or Muslim. Sports is, if you are good, you are good. People will go after you. If you are not good, nobody will call you to be on their side. And I used to encourage this, and I can tell you, we raised the sense of community living together. Parents were coming with their children to come and spend time there, and this is, again, is a new introduction in our system. But then, one part of the wall of that space, I painted it white. And I remember when I was a kid, and I'm sure Pamsek will remember too, there's something we call Majigi, that is at the chief's place. They used to show some kind of movie, you know, cinema, right? So that has died. That used to bring all of us together. We sit down and watch, whether it's Chinese or Indian, whatever they are saying, we don't know, but we enjoy ourselves. I reintroduced it at that space, but I don't show Chinese film or Indian film or Nigerian film or American film. I have a very, very young, active videographer in my center. He goes around to the community. He takes pictures of farmers, tailors, mama puts, all these market people and so on and so on, and he stitches it into a movie. And then every 2 weeks, we show our own movie. Come and see how local community shift when the tailor sees himself. He is talking on a movie that he is an actor. And the story is everywhere. Ah, have you seen me? And then, so each time now they see me, they want to be part. Everybody will come out, and then we used to show this. But I did this for a purpose. In that movie, I always inject something to do with the community development. Whether it's to encourage the young people to study mathematics, English, engineering, medicine, or how to farm well, or how to plan your mama put business, we put a slot so that people are beginning to learn entrepreneurship and so on and so forth. And we've seen a lot of outcomes. Improvement in the basic education, enrollment, and so on and so forth. We had a tremendous interest in science and technology from our children now. So instead of just going on humanities, we have a lot of them going to school. Entrepreneurial culture, we're improving that in our community, and so on and so forth. But the future, where I'm heading to now is that particular center, I will make it into a social mobilization hub. Because I have seen how the politics are going. The politics sometimes is becoming more dangerous than actually useful. This center will now become a center where you can give people information, tell them what is happening, and so on and so forth. And then all these things, capacity and competence building, technology development hub, if you come up with something nice and you want us to help you to commercialize it, come to our center, we'll help you. Sometimes free of charge if you cannot afford. And this is highly illuminating. And you see now why engineers never retire. It doesn't matter if you leave the civil service. It doesn't matter if you leave academia. but you will never retire because your brain has brain of an engineer is a different brain. Why? Because as engineers, you are a different material. You are a solution provider, and so on and so forth. So I invite you to talk to me if you are interested. If you want one of these you can afford in your community, we can help you establish that. If you don't want one, that is your business. But you can partner with us. But we encourage you also, if you have exercise textbooks of your children and they are all grown up, give it to us. It will be useful to us, and God will reward you. When you die, you go to heaven. You know. So today, what I want to talk to you about why we never or we cannot retire. And the reason why I think this way is because engineers are well trained. You start competing with people to be professionally trained. You have skills, even if you don't know. Engineer is a skillful profession. And skills is you build it over time through practice. You don't learn skill. I went to a university to give a lecture, and they said there's Department of Entrepreneurial. One of the courses is skills. I said, no, you cannot teach skills. You can build skills by doing things wrongly or rightly over and over. And engineers are there. We have competencies. There are very, very clear lines for civil engineers, agricultural engineers, mechanical engineers, and so on and so forth. We are hands-on and practical people. Even if you don't like it, I don't know how you behave at home, but anything that spoils in your house, something tells you that you can repair it. And then you just get on with it. Like me, I think since when I was undergraduate, even in our room in the university, I had spanners, screwdrivers, soldering iron everywhere. And they used to be bothered about because I'm not good at putting it together and hiding it. But our TV will spoil, I will open it. Sometimes I may not be able to close it, but it will work, and so on. So we are hands-on people, and we're very, very confident. The way an engineer can talk to people is different from other professions talk to people. We open our eye, but it takes a long time to breed this character. And therefore, you cannot breed this character up to a point, and then you say, I have retired. No, you never do that. So now, with this quality in you, engineers can actually, as I said here, can unleash the opportunities for sustainable national development. There is no country on earth that has developed to the level where they are comfortable without using their engineers. It's impossible. They never allow their engineers to retire, you know, and it is a very simple thing to measure. It is not a secret. If you allow your engineers to retire into non-entity, and then they're sitting under a tree, shucking sugarcane, eating kuli and groundnuts, and then you stand up to introduce, say, oh, hello, this is Engineer Bukar, this is Engineer Martin. And you look at him like this, that even you are not useful to yourself, you have just wasted investment. In countries where they never allow these people to retire, there are 3 things you can measure. You can tell. Number 1, those countries that never allow their engineers to mature, poverty is very low in that country. They don't allow children to be walking around without education. Those countries don't allow their women to die of maternal mortality, infant mortality, because their hospitals are very bad and the services are terrible. No. They don't allow their people to be drinking non-potable water, developing waterborne diseases unnecessarily, because engineers can solve this. They don't allow their system to have bad sanitation. You have typhoid all over the place, unnecessary things. This is a measure that engineers don't retire in this place. But anywhere you see poverty just rising, engineers are sleeping. And I'm saying that you cannot sleep, because this is not something that we're trained to look at. Even if you conquer this level, at the second level, engineers ensure that based on the capacity they have, they are helping people to have skills and competences, establishing small or even informal businesses, creating jobs and prosperity. You see your mother frying kuli, and you say, Mama, use a bigger pan. This is how you use your firewood. Let me get you groundnut every Wednesday. Before you know, your mother used to do it only once a month. Now she's doing it 4 times a month. She needs her auntie to come and help her. She has just created a job. And by working with her, frying the groundnuts, shelling the groundnuts, pasting the groundnuts, you are building skills. Soon, you will see that your mother will be telling you, no, don't do it like this. It will not work. That is skill for you. So we have that. We have great ethics potential. When we are functional, we breed a society with fantastic ethics. You don't have unnecessary primitive behavior surrounding you, and you say you're an engineer. When we function very well, you see peace and unity. And to the extent that you can see people enjoying themselves. You can sit and watch TV. You can take a break. You can go and see your community people from one part of the country to the other. This is the next level of where engineers are not retired. And at the highest level, at the 3rd level, you will see that when engineers are not retired, they now push their country to become a knowledge and learning societies, producing institutions that are standard. They are making the aeroplanes. They are the ones making the trains. They are making sure that they're operated. They're training people. They are making materials. This is practically unmeasurable. So, countries, the evidence that this is true, low or no poverty, large pool of middle class with skills and jobs and money and everywhere, and raising the standard of the country at the highest level. This standard, many countries have actually achieved this. Why? Because they don't allow their engineers to retire or sleep. And these countries, they are visible globally, and leaders in everything. They are well respected by everybody. Today, I don't know today, but maybe some few years ago, when they have given you a ticket and you have visa to go to New York, you cannot even sleep. You tend to wonder, why are you not sleeping? Something is telling you, I'm going to a better place. I'm going to a place where things are functional. There is no electricity power outage. Oh, their train is working. The taxis are working. The plane, so this excitement, these countries have achieved that because their engineers are not even sleeping, and therefore people respect them. They are the custodians of best practice. When we hear that according to, when we blow grammar, when we say according to best practice, it's not your practice, though. It's another person's practice. People who have not allowed their engineers to sleep, that is because they do things properly. They don't steal unnecessarily. They don't lie to you. When they say they will do, they will do. And then these countries, they have global enterprises and institutions. Their companies are good. Their institutions are behaving very well. Not today, this is it, and this is not tomorrow, and so on and so forth. And these countries, all of us resolved. These are what we call as the developed and rich countries. These countries don't allow, engineers in these countries don't sleep at all, So what is the secret? What is the secret of non-sleeping engineering? Because as I used to tell my colleagues, if you have good engineering and you're a good engineer, poverty will run away. And the development, you can't coexist together. But how come that in some countries, you have good engineering, good engineers, so we say, and poverty is relaxed and getting fatter? That is not a good. So what do they do? The first, I'm happy PAMSEC is here, is that in those countries to enable their engineers to be awake is that their development policies are evidence-based. It's based on data and numbers. They study, they crunch numbers, and they say, we want to do this because this is where we are. And they don't leave one sector. You are doing health, you are not working on water. You are doing water, you are not working on food. It can't work. Their policies connect everything to make sure that this availability of water will only work if the food is available. That will only work if healthcare is available. This is how their policies are. But what do? PAMSEC will give us money, put our name on the list to visit Singapore. And you are happy with that. You travel to Singapore. You enter Singapore. They take you to a 5-star hotel, limousine. And then you go to the conference. They show you the glitter of development, non-engineering sleeping. And then they give you one book. This is our policy on sustainable development. You read it. The pictures are all very nice. And then you check if PAMSEC is not looking at you. Every word where they say Singapore, you remove it and you put Nigeria. And then when you come, you write a report, and that policy is fantastic. We will do this. This is how we are going to do this, because Nigeria was sustainable development. This is what we are going to do. Then people will start clapping for you. Oh my God, this is a fantastic policy. And then we ourselves will come back later and say, Nigerians are good at making policies, but we are not good at implementing them. That is not a good story. Any policy that cannot be well implemented was not designed well. So they don't play with that. They are very good. So we have to know, if you get this, then you cannot sustain it with sleeping engineers. Second, in those countries, they have what I call vibrant research, technology, and innovation. Their universities are good, producing young people like some of you who are very aggressive to become entrepreneurs and technology owners. Not certificate university, you get a certificate. Don't joke with me. I have a FAEng, nonsense. And then you cannot even do anything. These ones, when they come out, in 3 weeks, they have gone to Enugu to see options. They've now from Enugu, they go to Sokoto, they see option. You are sitting here saying, oh, how can I go to Enugu now? They will kill me. And you have a FAEng certificate in your pocket. No, they make sure that this institution producing young people, young engineers, even the research are very, very good. And if you think I'm lying, take your device now, type top 100 universities in the world. You will not see even one in Africa. All of them are in these countries where engineers are not sleeping. 3, they have what is called as institutional systems of innovation. Institutions partner together to be stronger so that they can be able to be achieving their objectives. They don't argue, this is my mandate, this is my money. What kind of manner you are doing, implementing my mandate? Not that you are implementing this mandate, but somebody will just mention it in a paper. You will go and report him to the SGF. Okay, that man now, he is now implementing my mandate. I don't understand. You cause confusion all over the place. No. There is not one single agency anywhere in the world that can implement its mandate just by itself. You have to work with others. So they breed this system of innovation to be very, very efficient. And a very good example, PAMSEC is here, it's economic, is the core PAMSEC. You have these telephones that you have here. Every telephone takes your biometric to record you. The same you needs a passport to travel. When you go there, they take your biometric to record you. Then you want to do elections. They are also taking your biometric, card reader, and so on and so forth. Then population, they want to count you. You are doing biometric. You want to open account. You are just you. There are like 15 agencies that is constantly capturing your data. Yet, an insurgent will make a call and nobody knows where he is. These countries don't tolerate this. There's no way, unless you have sleeping engineers, retired engineers, when they are not, this will not happen. NIMC and everybody will come together and say, we need data for Nigeria, and you will get a data for Nigeria. Anytime you say, PIM, they know who you are, they know where you are, and so on and so forth. Then, in these countries, they have sustained research and development investment. They put a lot of money trying to brew knowledge, building engineering systems that can work year in, year out. Every of those developed rich countries, they have what is called as National Research Fund. At least 2 to 5% of their GDP. Their GDP is not like GDP of Nigeria, 500 billion US dollars. No, it's in trillions of dollars. Just their research investment is more than the total budget of Nigeria. This is only for professors to work on it, PhDs to work on it, to give them information so that they can be able to breed the engineering to move their country forward. We have to learn that we need this too if we want to change the fortune. So without wasting your time, you see here in those countries I said if they have any raw material, solid mineral, oil, or agriculture, they don't take the crude out of their country. Engineers of other non-sleeping engineers in other countries will break the crude, bring the diesel, bring the petrol, and then we'll fold our hands, we now get the petrol. And then if the petrol is not arriving on time, we abuse our leaders. No, it is that expertise, the engineering that is lacking. We're sleeping, we are retiring. If we were not, we too, we will dig it, we will process it, we will crack it and break it, we will get all the bits and that is where the jobs are. That is where the skills is. That is where the wealth is. And that is how you raise the profile of your country to the next level, and the poverty will be very, very small, insecurity will disappear. Then you have prioritized technology acquisition, focus, and mentor. Those countries, they focus on certain areas that they have a comparative advantage, and they grind it to become the best in the world. The engineers will recognize, for example, agriculture. Everybody speaks about agriculture is the backbone of the economy of this country. If it was true, all civil engineers would have been agricultural engineers, because they will be studying how to make agriculture strong. All mechanical engineers will have been studying how do you make the tractors, the implements, the storage system, and so on and so forth. You concentrate on this, but in your discipline. And then agriculture would have been at the highest level. Not like now, you will see later. From Bayelsa to Maiduguri and Sokoto, every single agricultural system is hoe, bush knife, and cutlass. And we say, yeah, we are agricultural engineers, and we are not sleeping, and we have not retired. We are sleeping, and we have retired. So I left all this. You can read the paper. In the early decades, these countries that I have described to you were only in America, and North America, and Europe, only. And they dominated everything. You want train system, you must go to them. You want nice roads, you must go to them. Because either you are not producing engineers, or your engineers are actually not functional, or they are retiring and going back to normal. When I go to Yola, I meet my brother. He's an engineer too, electrical engineer. Now he's gone back to farm. He's farming exactly the way my father farmed. So I used to query and say, yeah, what is happening? You should do this thing a little bit different. He is now carrying hose. He is taking his children. He is bending, then he's sweating. And then when they come to harvest the rice, they are cutting the rice, put it down on the ground, hammer it with stick, mix it with sand, and then come and complain that Nigeria has stones. After all, rice is not growing inside the soil. I say, why do you do this? Be a logical person now. He has retired. If you don't want that to happen, then engineers cannot retire. So these are the people. And then globalization came, because slavery disappeared. All these other bad things that were happening to developing countries that have the materials, that have the solid minerals, that have the oil, disappeared. So the only way that others can come and pauperize you and carry your material is globalization. Is to trick you to say, hey, you are my friend now. We can work together now. I can come and work in your system. You too, you can come and work in our system, study what we are doing. But they know, once your engineers have retired and sleeping, even if you go and spend 10 decades in their country, you cannot absorb anything, because wood cannot attract iron filings. It has to be magnet. And to be a magnet for knowledge and skill, you have to be a non-sleeping engineer. So they just tell you like this, come on, don't worry, we're friends. And then we accept. But you see, some countries said, hey, this globalization, so it's a window, we can enter, they can come in. So they started following this merit, good institutions, institution system of innovation, investing in R&D, and so on and so forth. And then they adopted all these, and then they started becoming better. Many in Asia, many in Oceania, and many in South America. And these are the countries that we now call emerging countries. Their engineers have woken up, and their engineers have decided not to retire and sleep. They too now, they are beginning to showcase this arrogance of non-sleeping engineering. They are now respected globally. They have best practices also, and they're making equipment. If you look at around here, in those days, even marble like this, you have to get it from England or Italy or whatever. Now, you can get it from these second generation developed countries. Should I stop? Sure. Okay. No, Chairman, should I stop? If you say I'm taking too long, okay. So they too, they started mimicking this. They are making cars, they are making trains, and so on and so forth. Why? Because they copied that. Now their engineers don't sleep anymore. But then, many countries did not take advantage of globalization till today. And that is why we are poor and vulnerable. Yes, we have universities. Yes, we have faculties of engineering. Where are the engineers to make sure that this poverty and vulnerability disappear? They are retiring and they're sleeping, and even the teachers are now not even teaching very, very well. And this is the group of countries that are behaving this way. Developed, least developed, or whatever. And this is the characteristic that we have. We are globally blurred. They don't see us at all when they are meeting and deciding. We're there. Nobody respects us. You know, they can do anything they like with us. We are custodians of bad practice. Anytime they want to say, this is not how to do this, and then they'll give example with our country. They don't do the way Nigerians are doing, you will not go anywhere, and so on and so forth, you know? And unfortunately, this is why our country, this is the main reason why I say I will make this presentation. This branch is a source. I was going to make this presentation at the AGM of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, so that everybody will know their level. But you are the first. So, anyway, but I'm sure we have reflected this. All of us, Pamsek is a big person, and most of you are big people. Oga that retired there is one retired engineer. I was telling him that I'm going to talk about you, sir, but it's not him. He has been doing very well. I have to say that, sir, because you are sitting here. Anyway, so now we've been thinking about, we talk about this all the time. I remember when we go to AGMs, simple lunch, engineers, to come and orderly collect your bag and then go and sit and be served lunch is a problem. You see, Madam knows. Simple, just food. Sit down and be served. We'll still go back to the local thing. Hey, I don't want fish. Oh. Give me chicken. Give me another piece. Nonsense. Before you know there's fight. No. You know. So, in my opinion, the reason why we behave this way is because we are yet to understand that our knowledge, you know, to achieve all these good things, you need sharpness, vibrance, connectivity, efficiency, and effectiveness of this God-given knowledge that God has given us. This engineering has to behave like this. And it must be very scientific, technological, and innovative. Otherwise, you are sleeping and you are retired even before retiring. And I can tell you this is the master key. You can do anything you like. You can be big if you like, you can be small, be a politician, be arrogant. This is the master key. Without this, you cannot change. Period. It's end of story. You know, so to engender this understanding, let us review this science, technology, and innovation. I just want to take 2 minutes to show you where you belong as an engineer. Whether you're sleeping or not sleeping, realize that. So I divided the science, technology, engineering, and innovation into 3 houses. I want to check which house do you belong to. The first house, research. This is where engineering researchers are. They have ability to study, you know, philosophize, generate knowledge, discover new things, and then conceive the possibilities and document and talk to you like this. These are academics. Professor and engineer, professor, doctor, engineer, we are all over the place. But what do? We are now, they invest a lot in us. We are highly trained. We use expensive tools and facilities. We require high motivation to reflect this knowledge. And we are specialized scientists and engineer researchers. And we collect a lot of money because we think we are very, very important. You cannot survive without me. I study well. And what do you give? You give research infrastructure. There are engineers here. If there are professors in the university, they will say, I have the best laboratory in this country. Don't joke with me. You know? Say, oh, okay, Baba of knowledge, Sanu with your laboratory. And then you say, look, I have PhD. Oh, don't joke with me. I have engineering PhD. In fact, I am a professor, the Baba of knowledge in my engineering discipline. I have written world-class publications in journals that you cannot think of. High-impact journals. People know my work. Nonsense. And then they even cite me. They quote my name in their paper. Bindir and Co. As it, come, let me show you. Nonsense. You are joking when you show your name. But at the end of the day, this group of people, what is their value in your development? Yes, you have high-level knowledge. You have high-level expertise and specialization. But if you concentrate on producing only this type of engineers, you still have to import rice from Vietnam. Nothing will happen to your agriculture. Nothing will happen to your healthcare. It's just powerful people who are knowledge workers. So you need to do something to it. Or you need to add people. Or you need to change or deceive these people to behave differently. That is what takes you into the house of engineering and technology. In the engineering and technology house, the people here are specialized and they have ability to transform the knowledge into socio-economic solutions. So liquid crystal display as a science material is nothing. But when you bring it to the workshop and you're pressing it, you're exciting it with controlled voltage, and it's beginning to show you colors, then something tells you that something might be useful in this. Then you are now beginning to shake your head that, yeah, this can be well. The same thing with cleaning water. Same thing with designs of investment. Same thing with seeds. Same thing with plows and everything. It's like that. They just said that behavior of soils in Oshobo is nothing. But yes, you can use that paper of behavior of soils in Oshobo to actually start designing plows and harrows and drills and so on and so forth. This is now in this house of technology. But then, the people are very good, engineers and so on. They are highly skilled in transforming knowledge. They show you proof of concept. They show you prototypes and pilot plans. They show you the possibility. Many of us agri-engineers, if you worked in university, the back of your workshop, you will see heaps of machines. I call it the cemetery of output from agricultural engineers, our faculties of engineering. Plenty. Then the dean will come and show you. You see this one? 10 years ago we worked on it. The thing can make choco. And then it's just doing this. Come, let me show you. You see this one here? It can do so, and so. But it's not doing anything. You are still importing choco. You are still importing seed. Now, this is where we start missing it and slipping off. What you have just gotten, that prototype based on knowledge, is what we call as intellectual property. Intellectual property is the property that is invisible. This room is invisible. Your car is visible. Your house is visible. Your farm is visible. That is visible property. But as I'm walking like this, and people will see this turban, and they will say, these local chiefs coming from villages, nonsense. They don't know this is an engineer that has done a lot of things because it is invisible, you can't see. That is intellectual property. But like all other property, your car is your property. If you don't have papers of that car, you cannot prove that it's your own. Your farm is your property. You need the certificate of occupancy to showcase that it's your property. Otherwise, if I start farming on your land, you cannot take it away from, especially if I have a friendly police that I have improved a little. They will even slap you, and I will take it. So, the same thing with this intangible property, you need a certificate of occupancy to protect. That chalk maker, that acha processing machine, that egusi processing machine, if you just do it like this, you study the egusi, you know the science of the egusi, you know how it behaves, you change the knowledge, and you make a machine into cracking it, and you have a crude prototype. If you don't protect it, somebody will take it and waste it, somebody will take it and use it, or whatever. And then that property, the certificate of occupancy of intellectual property is this. A patent is only a piece of paper to say that Michael was the one who actually came up with this prototype sesame processing. And this paper says that anybody who is using this material to make money must speak to Michael. If they use it without talking to you, can take them to court. They can charge them 2 billion naira. So you need that patent. Trademark. I have not seen a bottle of, let me get one bottle of water. Sorry, sir. Pamsek, I hope I'm not taking too much of your time. Okay. You see this blue ribbon here with chwe, something. If you peel it and you leave that bottle without mark here, come next year, the bottle will still be there. Nobody will drink it. They think there's voodoo in it. You want to kill them. Is it kerosene? Is it petrol? So to think and put that label to give it the confidence and enjoy that product is intellectual property too. You have to register it. My boss, sir. This is my boss, so all I'm telling you, he taught me. Prof, this is your chair there. Yeah. So, you see, so then, industrial design. You see the design of the bottle here, the package? You see the nice design of your telephones? It doesn't change the electronics inside. It's just nice to hold. It glitters. If you are a man, women will like you because of your phone. If you're a woman, men will love you because of the shape of your phone. That is also technology, how to design that with nice material. It's called industrial design. You have to register that too and be able to get the certificate that this is your design. Trade secrets. My mother has a lot of this. You know, trade secret is that you know how to do it. If you tell people, they'll go and do it and they will leave you behind. So shut your mouth. You know, my mother, when I was young, she was the best akara making woman in our community. And I'm telling you, when she puts her pan to fry the akara, she will put oil and put firewood, and she's sweeping. And she's sweeping like this, and then she comes and looks at the oil. She cuts onion and put it, and see the movement of the onion. She said, no, it's not ready. She continues sweeping until a point when she sees the onion is ready. She gets her own bean paste. She will fry the akara, nice, everything is done. We eat it and go to school. Now then you come as an academic engineer, you say, I will commercialize this, nonsense. Then you say that I must know this temperature. You go back to the university, the first thing you will do is to create a research team. 3 professors, 3 PhDs, 3 senior lecturers, and then you give them 2 or 5 million naira to get you that temperature. Then they work hard. They will buy thermocouple, they will buy viscometer, they will buy all sorts of things. Then they will come up with that temperature. They will say, try it. Then you do your paste, you fry, and then the middle of the bean cake is not well cooked. Say, professor, this oil is not. This is when you know how a professor is. It will tell you that the viscosity of Oshogbo oil palm compared to the viscosity of Jalingo oil, they have variation that is environmental, and this has to be determined. We need more money, sir. Okay? So now, with my mother, after doing it all over since we were kids, if you just tell people, this is how you do this, you have lost that technology. And this is not just akara. It is if anything you do, there's something that if you don't tell people, they will not get it right. So close your mouth. That is also intellectual property, and so on and so forth. So, but this intellectual property, what is its value? So you have a patent. Professor Onwalo has so many patents. Professor also here has so many patents. I have so many patents. But the patent, that piece of paper sitting with you, is only your liability, because every year you have to pay the patent office to keep the patent alive. This trademark that you have registered, every year you have to pay. This industrial design that you have registered, you have to pay. So it is eating from your meager resources. It's a liability. So you must make effort to make sure that this thing works for you. So you start cracking your head. How can this patent work for me? And it is this thinking that will now move you into the innovation side, because we call that technology transfer. This technology as patent, you have to move it to where it can become an asset and working for you. And these are the techniques that it can work. You can self-actualize it if you have the skills. Your chairman here is very skillful. He has invented something. He has protected it by patent. He will just resign from his job and then take up the practicing of that patent, and he will start making money. That's why you see his shoe is very nice, and he is looking he has a secret somewhere. You know? So, or you can outright sell it. You say, I have invented this. It is very useful. See, people have done the feasibility and everything. I invested 1 billion naira. Bring 10 billion naira because there is 100 billion naira buried into it. Give me 10 billion naira, put it in my pocket, I'll get another patent. So you can sell it and make money. Or you can license it. Take it. Work with it. For every 100 naira profit, give me 20 naira. For every 100 billion profit, give me 20 billion. So if you have 10 patents, you will still be in the university. You will buy a plane because your intellectual property is working for you. You are an engineer and you have not retired, and so on and so forth. It is this practice that actually moves you into the house of innovation. Most of you think innovation is intelligence, doing funny things and so on. No. Innovation is connectivity to the market. If you're not connected to the market, you are not part of the innovation index. You can have 1 million patents. They are piled up like this. If you are not selling things that are competing with others, you are zero at the level of innovation. So innovation is the outcome of dynamic deployment of knowledge skill so that you can be able to reel out products and services on non-stop. And you can be an innovation power today. You can be a zero innovation tomorrow. Go to Finland. You remember Nokia? They were the most innovative company when it comes to those electronic devices. But then they slowed down from research and technology, and then the Americans took over. So it is in this house, I can tell you, if you are a non-sleeping engineer, you realize what we have in this house. You know, when we were at university, you are admitted to study engineering. you are feeling big. Admitted to study medicine, you are feeling big, and so on and so forth. And then those arts people, they are painting themselves, they are doing drama, and so on. You tend to sit and wonder, who are these people in university? Nonsense. What is this nonsense that in this, they're wasting, how can I not get accommodation? And they give somebody from arts. What you don't know is that without these people, you cannot sell your product. Coca-Cola became very famous, not because of the chemistry. It's because of these artists. They know how to dance. They know how to sing about the Coke. They deceive you, and you're constantly drinking. These people are in this house. Then you know the business management faculty. We don't relate to them at all. We think, once you hear business, you think it's company, they are studying banking and finance. No, they are the people who can help you to do feasibility studies. They are the people who can help you to see where you can get financing for that patent to be actualized. They are the people who are doing the training. Faculty of law, they are the people who can help you to do with the intellectual property management, and so on and so forth. So this is where in innovation, you cannot stand alone as an engineer and then think you can be able to be innovative, reeling out products, making money. It does not work. You are sleeping. You will retire quickly and you will not have done anything. So where this pool of engineers are effectively integrated through farm actions and strengthened value system, you see now, with your non-sleep, you see enterprises popping out. Functional, skillful, and productive people constantly going to the factories and offices. Great industrial processes popping out of the system, and so on and so forth. And then, if you look at our country from this theory, we have a very, very healthy knowledge system. But the realities, despite having over 300 universities, over 600 research institutions, all this cemetery of technologies, over 70% of our people are actually below the poverty line. This is a very clear index that we are either retiring early, or once we retire, we go forever, retired. And in fact, we should have, Professor Umar should move a motion when we next meet at the Academy of Engineering, that once you yourself accept that I have retired engineer, they should take your qualification back, because that profession doesn't retire. You go and retire and stay there. We want to move it on. So with over 70% of our people under poverty, with all this power we have, when our children go to school, this is how they go. But we can stand and say, we can export timber. We know what to do with timber. You cannot even make table and chairs for your children. There are states where they cannot even make floor for their classes for these children to sit on. But we can export cement. Engineers are not thinking and working. This is how most of these rural people drink their water. We're sleeping, we're retiring. If we want to sustain our development, we cannot sleep and retire. These are the engineers for our farming systems. They are making axes, bush knives, and so on. This is the same people everywhere you go. When you go for Christmas, you will see them in your community. And that is why these are the MDs of those employment. You say agriculture is the major employer of labor. Well, these are the MDs and the executive directors of that employment. This is it. And that is why this is how their product, this is where their product is. It cannot compete anywhere because we are sleeping. And then when it comes to processing, this is it. As a Fulani boy in Yola when we were young, we thought gari was an evil food. When we went to university, we realized how functional and flexible this food is. You can eat it with groundnut, you can eat it with milk, you can eat it raw, you can eat it with sugar. In fact, the best food for anybody that can do is gari. You can easily fortify it with minerals and so on and so forth. But with over 1,000 specialized professors in cassava technology in Nigeria, till today, cassava, mainly in rural areas, are planted manually, is pulled out and harvested manually, is peeled manually and produced manually like this. And in fact, I'm sure during your lunch, if you had gari, you had it manually too. So this is the level. And then simple things. Flood every year we sit. We are engineers, but every year we know the rivers that overflow. We know the areas that are getting flooded. We just lament and we are sleeping. The flooding is a yearly activity. It's like waiting for a ceremony to happen. Our cows are like this. Cows are for 2 products or 3. Milk. If a cow that has big udder full of milk, it cannot move 10 meters comfortably. Cows are for meat, beef. If a big cow is fat with beef, it can not move for 100. How come our cows can move for 2,000 kilometers? Causing confusion everywhere. We are not working, but how do you produce those cows? It is about feed formulation, having the equipment to produce the feed. It is about housing. How do you house these animals? How do you water it? And so on and so forth for you to produce those. Engineers, if they retire, that is what you... In rural areas, this is our supermarket. Just open, confusion all over the place. That's how, even when they try to produce perishables, this is the level. In fact, in our suburban areas, even if you try, the sanitation is just terrible. Our young engineers, when they graduate, they don't even know what they have graduated. They start selling things on the streets of Lagos and streets of just unnecessary. Then they will tell you that, okay, I graduated mechanical engineer in University of Nigeria, and sorry, Prof. This is just what I can do now to keep body together and blah, blah, blah. But you see, these things are happening because of a reason. And the reason why it's pushing our engineers to retire is, it's not that we don't know science. We know science, but our science is not working for us. It's not that we do not know technology. The technology is not coming from our science. And it is not that we do not know innovation. Everybody here has a smart device. Not one single one is actually manufactured in Africa. We know, but this system is, everybody is facing their direction. And what we don't know is, from your knowledge, from your engineering, there is a value of death for you to connect to your people, which is your market. And I can tell you, I congratulate your chairman, the way to solve this problem, what to do to solve this and make sure that engineers don't retire and they're moving forward is that turn the arrows, talk like this. Let us start saying, Nigerian scientists, calm down. Do science on what can help Nigeria so that it can evolve into Nigerian technology, so that we can use that technology to actually be able to innovate. You see this overlapping area here, all the science here has become technology, and all the technology is being innovated into products. This is the sweet spot, and it is measurable. If you go to any of these first generation universities, and you ask the first generation universities, in the last 10 years, how many papers have you published with your professors and doctors and PhD senior lecturers? You see this room is too small to contain even the abstracts. The abstracts will fill this place. Then ask the next question. Of this knowledge, how much has become solutions for our problems? Everybody will run out of this and leave you with the papers. Not to talk of how much of it has become products and services employing young people. So it is only when you have this overlap that you have covered that value of death with a bridge. So more specifically, as I round up, is that what we need to do, the PAM sector, is that we need to have a shock treatment. Our own institutions, universities, polytechnics must change emphasis from this literacy education into creativity so that it is not just training centers and schooling. Universities and polytechnics must become centers of excellence on research and experimentation on things that matter. It must become production and industrial centers so that each university should have like an incubation unit or a science and technology park to showcase that our own knowledge can actually become products. Universities must become enterprises who need to sell their products. Your patents have to go out. You must get royalty. You must have a good intellectual property policy, and so on and so forth. And we must utilize our own universities and polytechnics or intellectuals to relate. If you have these institutions working like this, the kind of people that you will have in universities, lecturers and students will become innovative entrepreneurs, business leaders, because the mentality is creativity. High values and work ethic. They don't waste their time saying you are Yoruba, you are Fulani, you are Hausa, and they are in this functional system. No, the language is always talking about progress. They will have high technical know-how, and so on and so forth. And then they can be able to recognize opportunities in Nigeria. They can see the need for food, need for sanitation, need for vehicles, need for tires, need for fertilizer, and so on and so forth. And with that energy, they can be able to take advantage of that. And when you do that, you create massively that middle class that we're talking to, so that these young people will now just put their time to networking, creating strong connections. They share knowledge and experiences. They don't fight, they negotiate so that they can come up with solutions. And it is only then that our technical capital will bloom, and then we can now start seeing finances coming out. And this is what traditionally in our own institution that we call the triple helix. Government must respond to make sure the donor system is working so that it connects to industry very, very well. And if we're successful to do that, that our engineers are not sleeping, it is not a secret. You will start seeing Nigerian engineers will be the ones to design the roads, to construct the roads, to operate the roads, to maintain the roads. Not like now. Every single big road. Just see when our elders are cutting the tape, either to commission to flag off. You will see two white people at the back. That is where the science, technology, and innovation is. That one person that you see at the back. All this hula baloo fighting with security and so on and so forth is just a sleeping lot. You know, so you will see that we too, we can know how to make trains. We can now construct them and move forward. Our power will not be epileptic to the extent that you have, is it zone A or zone B, zone C? Me, I mean, yeah? Ban A, but Pamsek is in Ban A, so he has no problem. You know, I am in Ban C, so I'm complaining. So, but with that is an indication that engineers are asleep. You cannot be in a country that is flaring gas, that is solar everywhere, and you are doing banding for people. No, we will now be able to do that. Our own internet connectivity will be everywhere. Even our primary schools will be connected to the internet because we are not sleeping. And you will start seeing equipment coming from the agricultural engineers that can power our farming systems so that they can take advantage of biotechnology and so on and so forth. And then our cows will start looking like this. They will not be running all over the place, causing confusion. This cow cannot move. And this is the industry. The dairy industry needs this, and, you know, and so on. And then you will see young people in a system where engineers are not sleeping. The companies, small companies will be like this. They are making very, very complex products. And we too, we can now start reeling out branded products in industrial things, and this is the way to go. But we must change. We are glad that Pamsek is here, and he is the co-permanent secretary. You see that economy in the name of his title, that summarizes everything. And if we were to do that, we too, we would have taken advantage of globalization to demonstrate that our engineers are not retiring, so that we can be able to do that. Before I close, Permanent Secretary, let me share some experiences with you. The first experience I will share with you was when I was young, doing my master's and PhD. As a northern chap, northern engineer, I said, I must bring back Granite Pyramid. We keep reading about this story, Granite Pyramid, Granite Pyramid. In the West, it's about cocoa. In the East, oil palm. But me, I will do that. So through my master's and PhD, I started studying the granite system. That was me. I used to come and talk to farmers. Logic of engineering. Talk to farmers first. See what they do and how they do it. See how they process everything. What do they preserve? I studied the granite itself as a scientist. And then I invented a granite combine harvester. You know, so I thought I'm dry. I came to Nigeria with it. I was testing it everywhere. This was me. And I even had opportunity to actually meet President Babangida when he was president in the mid-80s. And everybody thought, Haba, Bindir, you have broken the barrier. You will be a very, very rich man. I can tell you, unfortunately, that day I had with Babangida was it. That's the end of it. That's the experience. And why? Why do you think this happened? Because our country has very weak industrialization strategy. We do not say, in the next 5 years, we will not import 1 grain of rice. What does that mean? We must produce our seed. We must know how to plow it. We must know irrigation. We must produce the equipment. We must do this and this so that close the gate and rice will just do that. We don't have that. Secondly, there is no funding as venture capital or technology risk fund in Nigeria. So I advise the PAMSEC to float, to push as an engineer that there must be engineering development fund somewhere. Just like you have TED fund, you have sugar development fund, there must be this engineering. Otherwise, we will all retire and sleep. Then we must raise the profile of our intellectual property system. At the moment, it's very, very weak, PAMSEC. It even scattered. Patent office, trademark registration, industrial design registration is in the Ministry of Investment. NOTAP is in Ministry of Innovation. Copyright is in Ministry of Justice. Even by dislocating this is a problem because we Nigerians, we do not have this system of innovation working. We are constantly fighting because of territory. So that has to change. We have very weak commercialization strategy. There is no university that has a strong intellectual property policy to encourage their engineers with resources to actually commercialize their inventions. It does not exist. And then we have very weak technology entrepreneurship support. We don't, even if you see something that is fantastic, it doesn't go. So I qualified my MSc with my PhD. I diasporaed to the Southeast Asia, and then I started enjoying myself. You see me with the other professors who are doing this, but I saw a problem in the Southeast Asia. They have coconuts, just like the groundnut, and the coconuts processing is manual, just like the groundnuts again. So I said, come on, Bindir, you're from Cranfield, you can mechanize this. So I started in the same way, talking to the farmers. I studied the coconuts to the extent that I know the amount of water inside coconut without opening it. Scientifically, I knew. I published many papers on this. And then I invented a coconut dehusking machine. Then this thing flew because it solved an industrial problem in that area because they have all this. They have industrial strategy. I got so much money to the extent that I have to return some money to develop this in the interest of the system to develop. They have strong commercialization strategy. Everything that we don't have, they have. And I was running all over the place, making these machines, testing it in different models, and at the end of the day, we had an industrial machine produced by an industry, and I was even getting some of the royalties when I came back to this country. Clear, I had these two experiences. Also recently, Pamse, I studied to demonstrate, I will close now. Yeah? You are signaling me to close. Okay. So I saw this challenge of 20 to 30 million children out of school. Engineers cannot continue reading this on newspapers, and then you go and sleep. It will not work for us. So I started a research program. I am telling you throughout Nigeria, because once you hear out of school children, something tells you that it is a northern Wahala, Almajiri. No, everybody has it. I took this picture in the east, interviewed most of these. Some of them have never been to school. This one I interviewed in Yoruba land, in Oyo State. They have so many of them. This one is in the Niger Delta, you know, on the beaches. I was there. I took pictures with these young people. This one is in Kaduna. This one is in Kano. This one is even in Yola. If you don't do anything to this, they are 15 years old. Leave them for the next 10 years. They will be 25. They will show you that you are an engineer, you are sleeping. Nonsense. So I see all this. I studied all these numbers, and they are very, very alarming. I realized that there is no way you can solve this. So I drifted. I said, let me work on the narrow Almajiri scientifically so that maybe I can make a field. So I now started studying the Almajiri. Unfortunately, this Almajiri, it catches you too early. If you don't do anything, it has already destroyed the child. And you are learning a different language, different everything. This, I took it in Katsina. These young people, 15 years old, look at what they have. That's all they have. And I realized that we're sitting on a time bomb, and we're calling ourselves engineers. So I started the engineering research. Goodluck Jonathan had implemented like 151 Almajiri schools. I visited all of them to see what is it, the innovation. But I can tell you, if you go into this, you see exactly the same thing. The politicians have gotten the contract, they have constructed the rooms, but the actual cream is actually exactly the same thing. Some have managed to put uniforms and mats so that it looks a little bit politically well. I was there. So I took this picture so that you don't say that I'm lying. See me, this is me. You know, and I know how to read this. So I started looking at the alloy itself, the wooden alloy. I said, let me put a bit of engineering. I studied it and I chose a particular dimension. I took it to my house, and I can tell you, this is me. I have a small workshop in my house. I started working on it. And before you say Michael Jackson, I produced a new alloy, and I put a digital device on it. And I protected it. I took a patent on this, and then I started the prototype. I'm very good with AutoCAD. I started developing the 3D models in different shapes and so on. I made so many prototypes here and there. I went to China to develop this product, and at the end of the day, we came up with the first model, you know. And the idea is, we came with the first model, we started doing the field work. I went to Sokoto, Katsina, Gombe, Bauchi. This is me in a school. We went and we studied. And what is it? The alloy is that on the digital device, you can have the Quran. we split the Quran into 300 modules into bit. But because now digital know-how is there, you can make video apps of these 300 models, and you can teach the children by themselves. You can teach hadith, the saying of the prophet. But then you can now inject real work. English will be on that, arithmetic will be on that, but you will also put ethics, how to greet your mother in the morning, how to respect your elders, how to carry bag when your father is back. But in addition, you can now put entrepreneurship onto it, how to prepare a gusi, how to prepare kununzaki, how to sew your dress, all because you are an engineer. And you see, if you look at it, I started getting some people saying, this Bindir, you know Nigeria. They will say, you want to solve the problem of your Almajiri brothers. What about we Christians? The design is that you see that top is the only thing that makes this palatable as a Muslim thing. You can remove it, and every child can actually do it. This one, don't install the Quran. Don't install the Hadith. Put Bible inside if you want. If you're a free thinker, put free thinking software into it if you like. But the idea is you can now fold this and be able to give a child a total package up to university level that you can teach the child under a tree, you know? So it's there. I told you, that engineering alone is not enough. I got the badge. I went to Lagos, I went to his concert, I asked the organizer, I want to see this man. We went to the back, I met him. And I said, the band, yeah. He said, oh, my brother, my name is Dr. Bindir. That doctor made it, so he respected me a lot. In fact, I put, my name is Dr. Engineer Bindir, so that he knows that I'm not an idiot. So then we became friends. I called him to my office. Now, anywhere the band sings, he has this unit. He sings with it. He's part of it. This is how you popularize it if you can. And so on this alone, you can have a number of apps on it, like I told you. Juice. You can make a video, buy a pineapple, chop it like this, remove the bark, cut it into pieces, use some devices, and before you know, you have an industry that is natural orange juice. I tried this. I did it in my kitchen. In 1 single hour, you can train 100 children. In my center, we are doing this. Or you can do flavored yogurt. Aminu and Nyako, we bought yogurt, and then we know on the internet, you can see how they make jam and so on and so forth from all our fruits. And we made it in my own center. And when you mix it, you have this flavored yogurt, everybody that is buying from our center. And then we devised a mobile entrepreneurship unit. And on that, you can do a video on how to make akara. I did this in my kitchen after only 1 lesson. My sister said, soak the beans in water. I did the soaking. Rub it, the skin will come out. I dehusked it. Put pepper and onion. I put pepper and onions. Blend it, I blended it. Stir it very well, I stirred it. Start frying it, you will see bean cakes coming out, and bean cake came out. This can be put on that device, and it can change the life of these children. And imagine if you can do it with all this. How do the entrepreneurs in sugarcane, how do you fatten goats? How do you fatten sheep? How do you do suya? Mama put, what is the process? You know, how do you fry plantain? The barber, local barber, put a video up so that these boys that you see, the Almajiris, they can now turn into entrepreneurs. The girls that are plaiting their hair, how to sell orange. All these ideas can actually be put as applications, and you can put it as part of the device. And now solar energy is available. We've done it in our center. You can charge it. In fact, putting these apps is an enterprise now. You can go to a place and say, can you put akara and kunu and so on my device? It costs you 100 naira. They will put it. And we are now trying to see how do you lock it that you cannot copy it. Still, my boys are working on this. So you see, retirement is not an option if we want our country to develop. And I recommend that we have to build this high-tech culture. We must change our language if we think politicians are our problem. Instead of telling them about research, about papers, about patents, and commercialization, just tell them that we can be able to create 1 million technology jobs. You will see them coming to your office because that is very, very political. And show them that from our agriculture, you know, our own cassava processing, oil processing, drinks making, all this machinery that we're making, we can actually generate with this 1 million jobs very easily to help your politics. Maybe they will talk to us nicely and be able to prove. 2, we have to think out of the box too. We have to link our research to industry very, very seriously. This one, I will take your time, but I think Pamsek has said enough of it. and I will jump it to somewhere here. 3, I even have my own innovation agenda. I call it Agenda 1777. The one on the 17 is that let us stop talking about all these. Engineers don't have sentiment. Let us continue wherever we do that this country is one. That is the Agenda 1. If you don't do that, you will lose steam on something useful. So Nigeria must be one. Let us say in the next 7 years, we must take a resolution. So 2026 to 2033, something has to happen. Let us say that we will give the world 7 branded Nigerian products from our own neem oil, from our grass cutter, from our salt. Let us decide on what we can give the world so that they can be able to respect. In this Gari and so on, nobody is competing with you. Just get on with it and do the engineering. The first 7 is that, third 7 is that using those, we are going to give the world 7 multinational companies. We had Zynox. Before Zynox dies, let us put an IT company on the globe. Computer Warehouse Group is a software company. It's a local company. It is now operating in Ghana, South Africa. Let us not allow it to run, and so on and so forth. Innocent is right at the bottom there. They can actually go ahead and do real innovation in automobile. Number 4, when we do projects, let us please, I should stop. When we do projects like the coastal road, like all these big projects, let us not continue giving it to international consultants, doing the engineering, doing the design. Let us give them the jobs if we think we don't know, but let us join them with our engineers so that we learn. The next one, we should be able to do it. Number 5, we should have exhibitions to promote our things intensely. And we must also be able to encourage our country to have that research fund. That research investment is very, very important. We must come as engineers to do that. And then number 7, we should encourage our leaders. At the highest level, let the president be the chairman of the Innovation Council. And let us encourage governors to actually be Innovation Council chairman at the state level. I think if we do that, in the next few years, NIAE can help Nigeria to gradually be growing. You have to grow slowly. And maybe at some point, we can be able to demonstrate that we are not sleeping and we cannot sleep. And I hope this brief presentation has demonstrated to you why engineers can never retire or sleep, because it is only us that will unleash the opportunities for national development to evolve a modern, competitive, united, and globally respected Nigeria. I hope somehow you have gotten something out of it. I thank you very much for listening.
Let's put our hands together for him.
A certificate of appreciation to my Oga, my senior brother, my uncle, Engineer Dr. Umar Bindir. Sir, this is in recognition of your services to agricultural engineering. Thank you, sir.
Hearty congratulations, sir. Let me also have this.
In my house and also here in the office, I have a package of this baobab powder. I used to mix them in my tea. It's very fine, very delicious. It's antioxidant. It makes me younger and gives me energy. Thank you. We present.
Surprisingly, this is my best soup. So I will soup it tonight.
And to react, ask questions, because I know a lot of us are burning on the inside passionately and wishing that we just step out here and make the positive impact that the globe would feel. May we succeed. Thank you, sir. Let's put our hands together for him once again. While that erudite lecture was going on, a distinguished Nigerian whom we are always happy to call our own in NIAE, Engineer Professor Peter Azikiwe Onwalo, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Academy of Engineering. Please, let's put our hands together for him. He walked in and he is with us. Thank you for always staying by, sir. And then we were going to accord very special thanks once again to the Permanent Secretary, the host, Engineer Gagare Nadungu, Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Aso-Villa, for this beautiful hall and for hosting this event tonight. Yes, let's put our hands together for him. Yeah. I know he has aides here. Please tell him that at a point in the event, he is a law student 100 level. His name is Mr. Olagunsoye Nathan Adekunle. Please come forward.
With innovative minds, you design irrigation systems. Crops begins to flourish. Water has become divine. Yields increases, hunger decreases, progress releases. Your work is a symphony of earth and sky. Your pioneers must put to our table resources, yet sources unknown to others. We stand due to your work and work cause worked. Your solution a treasure to share, empowering farmers with knowledge to spare. You brought to our tables food to eat, giving space to breathe. You saw from the grounds the rounds of greatness vital to humans. You plucked from the tree the new and now feel plugged to energy to vibrate. Climate change a challenge to face. Agricultural engineers always find a sustainable pace. You run the race and become the pace. With the creation of your ridges, crops grew beyond the bridges. Your work is what gives the Mr. Niger D the effectiveness of the Mr. Niger D. Without you, the solution to the situation of food will become an escalation. An occasion not complete without your participation. Even as far back when hoes and cutlass were the works of generation. You sought a solution to the motion by making technology useful to the aspect of farming, which is your present attention. You develop machines to till and sow, optimizing harvest beyond compare. Your work is the evergreen that makes the green shine so bright. And now with your innovativity, farming has become a job to take. Your ability to create tractors leading to ease is the best yet to see. Empowering farmers with knowledge to spare. From farm to table, your impact grows. And if I'm being asked, I will always say agricultural engineers are better off than any other profession. Because tell me, the ability and agility to give the nation its strength, you are the source of that. And that is why I don't want to exaggerate this. Your rate is a 10 over 10 with no error. You're the mirror in which the improvement of livelihoods and communities are carried out. You are the heart of the earth, you bear the ecosystem. You're the genuine request the earth demanded. You are everything we need. You're the strength of the nation. From the green leaf to providing food on the table. You are actually what Nigeria needs to respect. Your professionals better than any profession. So why then would agricultural engineers or engineers themselves want to retire, but rather make the fire higher than the Burj Khalifa? Because you're the strength of the nation. So please do not retire, but make the fire higher. Thank you.
But please do not retire, but make the fire higher. Let's put our hands together for him. Nathan, I put it to you, you're going to be a good lawyer. And of course, a spoken word artist. Keep it up. Let's put our hands together for him once again. Now it's time for us to make very quick reactions to the presentation. And then, of course, the speaker would react if there is question along the line. My mic is up. Please let me see your hand up, and then I'll give you the microphone. You take it off from there. From the high table, and then we can take, if there is any comment from the high table, Prof. Usually, traditionally, we discuss rich papers like this, and then begin to entertain questions and reactions from the floor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome everybody. And I'm really glad that I was able to make it. When I saw the flyer, I quickly marked my diary because, not just because I want to attend NIAE meeting, but it's always something I look forward to listen to Dr. Bindir. The lecture he gave once in my university as the lecturer for one of our convocations, the convocation lecturer, is still reverberating in the university. And I remember that when we were all together in the Ministry of Science and Technology, we used to call him, and I'm sure we still call him, the Speaker of the Science, Technology, and Innovation Parliament. And you can never get tired of listening to him. So thank you, Professor Bindir, because I know he's more than a professor. The lecture for me, even though I missed some part, but I think I met the juicy, more important section. It's really important. He has given a very thought-provoking lecture. Engineers don't retire. And I remember a few weeks ago, I went somewhere and in a meeting like this, not in the engineering sector, somebody walked up to me after I was introduced. He said, "Are you really the same Professor Onwang that I hear? And that you are still working, you are still..." I said, "Well, don't worry about what is here. I'm not really as young as, even if I am, I no more feel as young, that the body is getting weak." But I'm just trying to say that really engineers do not and should not retire. Because if you are an engineer, constantly you are looking for solutions to problems. Especially in our environment, where we have all kinds of challenges. What he has demonstrated to us is that as engineers, we are trained to solve problems, and he has shown it. This is machine for dehusking coconut. If you grew up in the village like me, you will know how difficult it is to remove that fiber surrounding the nut. Even now that people do it, in my house, one of the challenges I see the young ones do it. I like coconut a lot. So my wife normally buys the fiber has been removed, but you know you have to still crack it. And sometimes I amuse myself watching my adult children, not children, no, trying to remove what I want to eat from the nut. And you hear, bah, bah, bah. I come and say, you have to learn how to do this. And it's still a problem for them to get out the coconut. And then looking at our engineering applications, talking about this coconut, everything in what you saw, if that thing is peeled, that fiber is yet another thing that can solve problems. And then the shell itself, the kernel itself, I'm sure he didn't go further to tell us other things he has done. He just used this. But the challenge, and I want to throw this to Dr. Bindir. I know he was DG of NOTAP. He has done so many things. Maybe you can throw a little more light on how we can overcome this challenge. Even me, as I'm winding down in my professional life, one regret I always have is, all these things we do, why are people still the people that need these devices, why are we still, you still see people doing things manually? I think it's a problem, but even though he has demonstrated from the two examples I saw, that is the machine and then what's the name again? Well, the computer he developed that can be used for elementary teaching, for church teaching, for anything. That's really very interesting that that device can actually be loaded to do anything. And you can imagine what this device will do for our young children if we put it that what our children will be watching will be things like this. I don't know how many, I think a number of us are old enough to have adolescent children. I don't have now. I think they've all gone beyond 20. But even between 20 and 30, you will notice that what they watch is not what they should be watching. They are not looking at what should be helping them. And I know this because even as a parent, one of the things I do is when they are sleeping, for those, now they are getting older, what I now notice is you come to enter their room, the room is locked. And I ask, when they eventually open the door, I say, why do you lock? Even me at my age and sleeping in the same room with your mother, we don't lock our door. Why must you lock your door? Anyway, that's another story. But the ones that have obeyed me and they don't lock their door, sometimes I walk into their room when I wake up to urinate, and maybe he was watching something and slept off. And you see the kind of thing, because the thing will still be on. So you begin to see that this kind of device is something that can change our youth and revolutionize things. So the question I have is, all this, we still have a problem. These two devices he demonstrated, we should be in the market. Today, one professor came to my office in the university. He came with 3 fat books in accounting, forensic accounting, this, that. I said, he came to donate this to us. I said, Prof, is this your book in the market? He said, no, unfortunately. I said, I ordered a contract recently for somebody to supply books. The person said 3/4 of the books he couldn't find in the bookshops in Wuse Market or wherever. He had to send people to Ibadan or to Kaduna to look for these books. So I said, there is a problem. You have worked hard like me. I also have some books I've written. They are not in the market. So I think there is still a gap. How to make sure, how do we get to a point where the kind of thing the Chinese, I'm sure if you are in China, these products, we will have millions of them in Nigerian market. And people will start buying them, because once one person buys and sees that it helps, then another person will buy. So maybe you can shed more light on this. But honestly, this is a wonderful presentation. That is, for me, it is about doing. It's not about saying do this, but you see somebody who is doing it. It's not just talking about it. But I think it's also a lesson for the younger ones. We need to get to the level of coming up with innovations that can solve problems. And the way we are trained as agric engineers, I don't know of any engineering problem we are not trained to solve. And the society is looking onto us. It is not enough to say, I have designed this, or like me, who has published it. They say my H index is, I don't know what it is now, but in our days, when we go for interviews, as professors, or you are looking for something, you carry a bag full of your publications. Today, as I sit as Vice Chancellor of African University of Science and Technology, if you bring down your fact CV, I will receive it, but I will just look at your name and ask one of my assistants, check this person's H index, whether it is Google Scholar or Scopus. So nowadays, I don't read CVs. That H index tells me this person's level in terms of technical publications. The same thing with, if you are looking at innovation, I'm looking for an innovation expert. And you come and tell me I have designed this. I know, you need to show me patents you have done like you talked about, and then what you have done in converting those patents to what? Products, goods and services that are in the market. I think these are areas that we need to, as engineers, see how we can overcome. If you look at our elders that have gone and those that are now incapacitated by age, they've done a lot, but most of these things have not really transformed into public goods that people can easily buy. So maybe when he's responding, he can throw a little more light on how we can overcome this as agric engineers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Please let's make it louder for him. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you so much. Honorable Permanent Secretary, sir, we took a session to acknowledge you, appreciate you once again for this beautiful hall that you have given, and of course for hosting this meeting and very important technical session. Thank you, sir. The lecture is over, and then we are taking a few comments from members of the high table. And then before that, we take questions and reactions from the floor, and we call it a wrap. Okay. She wants to say something, and then I know Honorable Pemsec would want to say a few things too. No, let him rest. He's just coming in, and then I think it would be good to listen to you.
I want to appreciate Dr. Bindir for the wonderful presentation that he has just presented. And I want to say that I'm really blessed being here today, because the last time he was invited for the NIAE conference, I didn't have the opportunity to be there, though I was the chair of the exhibition committee. But the program fell on our own program too, which I was also a very key person in that program. We had our council in Akwa Ibom Uyo, so I had to go to Akwa Ibom Uyo for our own program. But my director, Engineer Oluni, was around. She attended the program. So when she joined me out to you, she just couldn't stop talking about Dr. Bindir's presentation. You know, and she said, that presentation was wonderful. That she kept repeating it. So when this time came up and I saw that he's coming to present today, I said I must try to be here. And alhamdulillah, I'm here. I came today, and after listening to him, I just told him that I'm blessed listening to his presentation, and I'm really blessed. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you indeed. Okay, Honorable Permanent Secretary, sir, I think in the order, okay, let's hear from you. I think you would speak last when everyone has spoken. It is in that protocol, yes.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, sir. All protocols duly observed. There's something I sent to you, Chairman.
Yeah, you sent it, but he's always wanting to ask what you made, but I'm not sure.
Okay, fine. It's just like what Dr. Bindir has said. Thank you so very much. It's so wonderful sitting and listening to you. Anytime you listen to him, you must have something to go home with. He said innovation without connecting to the market is nothing. So your innovation must connect to the market. Just a few days ago on, was it? One of something, I can't remember which media I was watching, but I had to actually grab it. And this is, I don't know whether he's a Ghanaian, that's why I wanted that video to be played. Fine. A young guy schooling abroad has a roommate who happens to be a Nigerian. It's just a 1-minute video. Now notice that his roommate was always coming to England, UK, with Gary. I was like, why do you really love this thing? and granite, you understand? So the guy was like, let me taste out of it. And before you knew it, it became something he loved. And notice that you don't have to cook, it's already made. And what did this guy do? He started thinking out of the box. The Gari person who is a Nigerian was not thinking. A foreigner who was eating the thing and enjoying started thinking out of the box, to the point that when he now met investors, and they asked him, how much do you think you can make in a month? He said, 460,000 pounds. And what did he do? You know, this the way our Indomie is. You understand? He put Gari, put sugar by the side, put granite by the side, sealed differently. And at a go, you have something. So thank you very much, because what you do really amazes me. Because each day you keep updating your slides. Meaning that the aloe that you've shown us, you know, it has really advanced from the 10 years ago you were working on it. So it's good to be on a path that you know that is progressing. So thank you very much, sir.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Engineer Nena Igwegwe. Thank you so much, ma. A fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and a face and name to reckon with.
Good evening, everyone. All protocol duly observed. My name is Akin Davis Tinuala. I am the president of Afrat Africa, Association of Farmers for Agricultural Transformation in Africa. I've been following up the meetings of Nigeria Institution of Agricultural Engineers. There was one I attended at AUST, and I asked one particular question that most of the research work and innovations, they have not been practically effective at the grassroots. That we are not feeling it. As a farmer, I'm a farmer. We are not feeling it. We are not there. It's not changing the narratives. The whole thing has been repeated the same way all the time. And we are not seeing the effectiveness of all this research work. And it's giving us a lot of concern. I asked the question. Thank God the prof was here, was there then. That's Professor Azikwe. And he answered correctly. I said, sir, what is the problem? He told me that the problem is the problem of extension service system, which is quite okay. But at the same time, I want to see another thing added to it, that most of this research work, innovations and all that is not getting to the end users, which are the farmers, to change their narratives. Because India now, when they do their rice farming, for 1 hectare of land, they can have more than 40 tons or more than that. But in Nigeria, we struggle to get less than, we cannot get half of that, or whatsoever they are producing there. It's because this research work and innovations have not gotten to the grassroots, the farmers, for them to use. And this research work, also, the farmer, the end users they are not being carried along when the research is being done. Because we have to carry us along so that we know everything, the rudiment of all this research work and how to apply it and getting to us to put into practice so that we can change the narratives of higher yields on our farms. So please, I want the prof to tell us how can we do this to carry the farmers along. What is happening here? I've been attending all these engineering meetings because I am interested. I want to go along with them. I want to know, I want all the...
Thank you very much. I think there are only two questions that need answering. One from Prof, which is a comment, and then the other one from our professor over there. You see, let me tell you, like I put it on the presentation, there is no country that has either deliberately or non-deliberately managed to harness information on its own challenges, its advantages, its disadvantages, and forge a way forward without engineering. There's no country. All the countries that have developed have used that platform. And how do you do that platform? From the presentation, I showed you a list. The very first thing is that this profession has to be recognized as a profession that you can ride on with the support of the others to actually make breakthrough. If you were to assess very senior engineers, our first generation engineers, so many have died, many are in the Academy of Engineering, and ask them exactly, have you been satisfied being an engineer in this country, that you see your handwork touching people here and there? I think you will get 99 over 100 that will say no, they are not happy. And the reason is because it seems to me that we have engendered and accepted the culture of poverty as our culture. We like causing confusion where there's no confusion. Let me tell you, in the 60s, and I was born in the 60s, but I'm sure in the 60s and 70s, the first generation universities are not like these universities now. University of Ibadan was a pure cosmopolitan university. People like Professor Iya Abubakar, Professor Jibril Amin, and all the big professors were there as young people. They schooled together. They supported each other, and you can see, until their death, for some of them, that childhood friendship survived. Same thing with University of Nigeria. Same thing with Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. What has happened over the years that today, if you go to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, if you cannot speak Hausa language, you will feel very uncomfortable. If you go to University of Nigeria, 98% of teachers and students put together are all Igbo. The same thing in University of Ibadan and so on. There is no way you can behave as a normal Nigerian for progress when you are in an education system when you are 25 up to 30. You eat the same food, you are wearing the same dress, you are speaking the same language. You cannot be a good engineer in this country. This has to be broken. This is how the dream is, that how do you get your classmate, a northern chap from Sokoto, schooling in Suka, with his friends that will say, Lomva, we are going to Sokoto, I want to see that opportunity in the red goat industry because leather is my interest. You don't get it now. In fact, to the extent that we ourselves were turning back and discrediting NYSC. You see, now we have gone to a point whereby you school in that state, you do your service in that state, you start looking for a job in that state, totally in disrespect of what has been designed for unity and progress. These are the issues. We've accepted that. The second word, sir, I want to respond to you to that is that you see this poverty. In Islam, you have to wake up practically like that because you do that because you are an engineer. But if you give up, you think somebody is hiding somewhere to make life difficult for you. You've already retired.
Today, I am very, very happy, very glad seeing my Oga here, Engineer Akintola. I work under him right from my employment until he retires. Welcome, sir. It is with great honor and a deep sense of duty that I welcome you all to this important general meeting of the Abuja chapter of our esteemed institution. It is indeed an event that we have all looked forward to with anticipation. As a proud fellow of this noble body, I consider it a privilege to host this gathering of community of professionals whose contributions to national development are both far-reaching and immeasurable. Today's meeting is unique, not just because of the compelling thing why engineers don't retire, but because we gather here bearing heavy hearts, mourning the painful loss of one of our own, late engineer Adebayo Adedeji. Until his sudden demise, the late director of APM at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security was not only a highly respected senior member of our institute, but a visionary engineer, a quiet force of development and a mentor to many. Indeed, in the face of his untimely passing, there was initial consideration to postpone this meeting. However, the strong, unwavering, and united consensus among members was that we must hold this meeting in his honor, to celebrate his life, his legacy, and his impact on the profession and our nation. Let me therefore use this moment to most respectfully urge everyone to stand on our feet to observe a minute silence as we pay glory tribute to our departed colleague. Thank you. May his soul and the soul of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. May his soul rest in peace. Engineer Adebayo's devotion to agricultural engineering practices and his strategic role in shaping agricultural policy implementation with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security have left indelible footprints. May his soul rest in perfect peace, and may the ideals he stood for continue to inspire the rest of us. Very distinguished colleagues, the theme for today's event, why engineers don't retire, could not have been more timely or more profound. It speaks not only to our enduring relevance in this society, but to the timeless nature of our contribution to human progress. Engineering, particularly agricultural engineering, is not just a job, it is a lifelong calling to problem solving, innovation, and national transformation. And that is exactly what our uncle, our father, Engineer Dr. Bindir Umar, have been preaching here, that you keep improving on certain innovations until you get the desired result. He even said that you are to think out of the box. But let me borrow the words of our Honorable Minister of State, Agriculture. He said you should think, even if you don't have the box, just continue thinking until you profile solution to that problem. Thank you. Our impact is generational, and the late director exemplified that truth. Even in death, his ideas live on in the system he helped to design, in the colleagues he mentored, and in the vision he shared for a food-secure Nigeria. Please, I know that some of you will be surprised why I keep talking about him. May I please use this opportunity to say it was my second coming to ABM, to Agribusiness and Market Development Department, that opportunities was given to me for me to represent the directors, the minister, the PAMSEC, always, because he granted me such opportunities. And in fact, that was what opened my mind to my present status. That's why I remain grateful to Engineer Adebayo Michael. Let me commend the chairman of the Abuja Chapter, Engineer Adebayo Adedeji, and his hard-working executive for their resilience and leadership in ensuring that this meeting holds, despite the emotional weight we all carry today. Your efforts reflect the true spirit of engineers, resolute, constructive, and forward-looking, even in the face of adversity. Engineer Adedeji, no grease to your elbow. As we engage in today's session, which we have already engaged, let us not only reflect on the contributions of the past, but we will commit ourselves to the future, to mentoring the younger generation, to innovating our agricultural system, and to amplifying the relevance of our profession in national policies and development planning. We who are in the public sector, it is incumbent of us to always champion the relevance of agricultural engineering. Because as I resume in the OSGF, under political and economic affairs, at the management meeting, I told them, you put it in a memo and you send it to us, we will push it up, and by the grace of God, positive results will come out from there. Thank you. I want to sincerely thank all of you for attending this meeting. May I conclude by saying thank you very much. Thank you very much. Long live agricultural engineering. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In recognition of your services to Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers, I am made to present you this certificate of appreciation. Thank you very much. And more grease to your elbow. Continue serving the association very well. Thank you. Again, for me to present a certificate of appreciation to Engineer Akintola A. Akintoye for a successful technical lecture on leveraging on agricultural engineers cooperative for economic emancipation of engineers. Sir, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for this great feat. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. Good friend, Engineer Adole is my good friend. This is in appreciation of the successful delivering of a technical lecture on agricultural mechanization thanks you so much. Congratulations. Thank you, Ma. This certificate I am about to present on behalf of the NIAE is in appreciation for a successful technical lecture on irrigation management in Nigeria. Lessons from Kano River and Hadejia Valley Irrigation Project. The association highly thank you for this. Congratulations and thank you, and more grace to your elbow. Certificate of appreciation to Engineer Professor Peter Azikiwe Onwalu, FNSE, FNIAE, FAR, FAS, FNIN, sir, for a successful technical lecture on artificial intelligence